Hello. Is this Freedom Tower? It is right now. Pretty much almost 4 in the morning. Morning. I just woke up early. I was like, why not? Just want to do a quick little video on Hell Let Loose. I'm still working on the review. I'm still learning the editing and everything else. But I just wanted to get this out of the way, since we already know the next map will be Tobruk, which will be a really exciting map to play on. And I can't wait to experience that. But before we do, but after that, I think it's best to say after Tobruk, we should honestly have I guess, an overall update. I guess what I mean by that is, like, for instance, like, I think after we do Tobruk, I think we should do a complete rework for how tanks operate. Honestly, because compared to other games, just like Squad 44, for instance, like in Hell Let Loose is a very casual experience, and I do understand that, but it's just sometimes some of the matchups are just pretty much a one-sided fight. Like, pretty much heavy tanks dominate the game. Like, you could do well in a medium tank, hell, even on light or recon tank, but like you're pretty much gonna get one-shotted like nine out of 10 of the time from one of the Panthers or a Churchill, an IS-1, or even a 76. So I think after the update for Tobruk, they should do a complete overhaul for armor to make it better. Now I have some ideas, at least, like for instance, like the ricochet system. Make it to where angling your armor has more of a play in it, such as like if I'm in a Panther tank, then I can set up like on a diamond position or a uh very much set myself up to bounce shells. I think that would be really dope. Or hell, you do the same thing to like for the Russian tanks to make them at least a little bit more better, since the T-34 already has honestly really good armor, since it's heavily sloped. So I do think having that update would help out other tanks. Hell, it might even help the British, maybe. Who knows? But also with this armor update, I don't want it to just be all reworks. I wanted to also incorporate like brand new tanks. Maybe incorporate new tank destroyers, SPAAs, or self-propelled guns. That way we could have a way to replace artillery, and now we have mobile artillery. And this one, you have their own munitions. They have very small amount, and they have to constantly be going back to HQ to rearm, and goes back to a new position. Like something like that would be great, because having, like for instance, like a tank destroyer could honestly change how fighting other tanks encounters would be. It would be pretty amazing to see, for instance, like tank destroyers just go out in the field and just completely demolish heavy tanks and every other tank, but it has very weak armor. A powerful gun, but very weak armor. I would say for the tank destroyers, I would say give it medium armor, like the medium tanks, but give them the heavy tank gun. That's about it. And you have a lot of options here to pick for tank destroyers too, for both the allies and Axis. So like it's pretty good. It's pretty dope. Like for instance, like I'm for the Americans, for in my opinion, for their tank destroyers, I think they should either get the M10 or the M36. Either the M36 or the M18 as well. Uh, Everyone has their own ideas of what kind of tank destroyers they want to see in the game. Like I said, they have pretty much a lot of iconic like tank destroyers, especially for the Axis. So it could pretty much change the dynamic of how we fight and how combat is engaged. And introducing SPAA could even help out as well. They could also be a way to, like, I guess, counter the enemy commander, such as maybe shooting down the supply plane so that way they don't get supplies, or taking down an enemy airhead. Um, like, or even hell, you could use it as straight up like infantry support. Use it as like a gun emplacement, like stuff like that. I think would help out in the meta, and plus give players more options on how they're going to hold the line or how they're going to go about this engagement. And having a tank destroyers, well, you can either have a tank destroyer where you have a pretty heavy gun and mobility, but you're paper thin, or you could take this big heavy tank with a big gun and heavy armor, but you're slow. Like, honestly, I think after the Tobruk update, I do believe they need to do a complete armor update. Hell, you could call it um like Man of Steel update, or the armor core, or the armor update, something. Because there's not many people really driving tanks, and that's a shame. And the tanking is hella fun in this game, but it's a pretty much a shame that you rarely see like players wanting to tank. I do enjoy Hell Let Loose. Gonna put out my tidbits on the review later on. I'm still getting clips here and there, but overall, I this is my thoughts on what they should do for Hell Let Loose after they add Tobruk. I do believe it. They should 100% focus on armor, like giving us brand new armor, giving us new tanks, like tank destroyers, SPGs, SPAAs, rework with the ricochet, right, for the armor, because sometimes none of them make sense. Like, I will be in a diamond position and like a tiger, and yet still will get pinned. Like, how? And he's not even in front of me. He's like literally facing me at an angle. Like, that doesn't make sense. But overall, that is all my thought process for what they should do after they add Tobruk for Hell Let Loose. Definitely an armor update. Rework how armor works. Also add new tanks. Do some quality of life work and performance work to help make the game more stable, and it also makes it easier to handle these big, hefty tanks. But other than that, that's pretty much my final thoughts. If you have any idea what they should do after they add Tobruk, do you think they should add a brand new map? Jesus, I cannot speak English. I'm probably still tired. But do you think they should continue on adding brand new maps after Tobruk, or should they do a overhaul for whatever ever it has to be, whether it's infantry, recon, vehicles, weapons, whatever or even like commander abilities. So I'm accidentally pull the trigger. Or overall reworks for commander abilities. Me personally, I think after Trabook, I don't mind them doing this. I could wait for a brand new map, but I want armor to be more fun. Because if you ask me, it's really not fun, especially like how how the vehicle economy is in this game is sickening. But enough with my tangent. This is Freedom Tower signing off.